day in LA. I'm Mike Amos, hoping that you're doing well this morning on a Thursday as we move right along July the 12th. And as the clock winds down toward the end of July, we've got college football, we've got school starting back, we've got so many things going on. First of all, the Troy Ozone team will be heading to Greenville tonight to play the, well, actually the Ozone team was listed when they knocked off Enterprise for the district. Now they'll be playing in the state tournament in Greenville starting tonight, and they'll, of course, led by a good group of young men and who played very well all the way through the tournament. Cade Brookins, Wes Bradston, Jackson, Parker Adams, Jackson, Cleveland. Boy, isn't that a great name. And young Josh Presswood, the coach's son. They've done a great job, and they will be playing in the state tournament this afternoon when they take on Southeastern Blue in Greenville. Southeastern Blue's out of Montgomery. And, of course, the Ozone team was the last on the field on June the 26th when they knocked off Enterprise in the best 2 out of 3 championship. They're coached by Josh Presswood and really have a good baseball team. And, of course, these are 11 and 12-year-old youngsters, and looking forward to watching them play for this state championship. Already there are 2 other Troy teams, the Dixie Bells and the 6 and Under. 6 and Under have won the state championship, and they will not have a World Series championship. So they'll end with the state championship, which is very good for a 6 and Under group. And then the Bells are really having a great tournament, and they are heading to the World Series this week. And also one other team we don't want to leave out is the team that's coached by David, gosh, if they continue to play well, they're going to be could win a state championship and then possibly a district championship and a right to go to the World Series. Taking a look at these junior boys, kids and 13-year-old Dixie boys who will be in the field in Enterprise, and gosh, we got all kinds of tournament teams out there. Their head coach is Billy Jeffcoat, and he has a good group. Some of those guys are K.C. Bradford, Zachorian Cantlow, Mario Davenport, Andrew Galloway, Phoenix Griffin, Damian Hart, Payne Jeffcoat, Cade Renfro, Will Tiflin, Connor Thrash, and Landon Tyler represent that team, and they'll be in action in Montgomery today. Well, actually, let's see here. The 13-year-old boys hit the field for the state tournament in Enterprise on Saturday, so they're already going at it, and good luck to them, too. Pike Patriots football team getting involved with a 7-on-7 tournament, and they've already played in one. In fact, speed-wise, it says here the Patriots' first tournament for the summer, they participated in the Wiregrass 7-on-7 tournament that featured Alabama High School Athletic Association members and participants in the highest class. This time around, the Patriots will feel more at home. They will all be playing a match up against a lot better one than the one at Charles Henderson, speed-wise. So that was a experience that our kids really enjoyed. And talking about Pike Level Arts participated in the same 7-on-7 tournament that Charles Henderson played in. It says this will be Alabama Independent Schools, Allen said. Speed-wise, we will match up a lot better than the one at Charles Henderson as far as speed goes, and of course the bigger the school, usually the better the team and the more speed that the team has. I want to mention that the Tiger Sharks of Troy has a big tournament coming up. The district swim meet in Dothan, and the Tiger Sharks head coach Nicholas Christen has his team ready, and he's going to send several of the Tiger Sharks to that district championship in Dothan. So good luck to them, and of course. Our prayers and thoughts are with the Dr. Allen Jones family. We lost our good friend Dr. Allen Jones, longtime dentist in our community. Good morning. You're on Today in L.A. How you doing?
Hey, morning.
Mike, we lost Dr. Allen Jones this week, and his funeral will be tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon at the First Baptist Church in Troy. Visitation will be from 12 to 2 at the church, and then the church service will start at 2 o'clock. That's tomorrow afternoon.
I saw Mr. Jones at his sister's not too long ago. How old was Mr. Jones?
93, and what a great life he lived.
What a life. That's amazing.
He was married to Frances, his wife, for 69 years, and of course she passed away a few years back, and of course, he's a class guy, walked with great class and dignity through it all, and of course, one of the great gentlemen, one of the great Southern gentlemen you'll ever meet anywhere.
Well, that's, one of those situations where, 93 years, you can't ask for much more than that.
No question about it,
He'll definitely be missed.
and he's with his Lord and Savior, and of course, he was so active in everything. I tell you, when I was playing ball, I knew that there were a few men in town that really wanted you to succeed, and one of them was Allen Jones. Tommy Wise was another one. That you knew were in your corner, and you appreciated them so much. And Dr. Allen Jones was one of those guys, and he and Jesse Alcali were at almost every Troy football game for as long as they lived, pretty much. I know Dr. Jones, he didn't miss a single game. He missed very few Troy University games, and he was always there for the young person, and they knew that he was their friend, and he practiced, actually moved to Troy from Birmingham in 1952, and he practiced dentistry for 47 years, retiring at the age of 75, and of course he was on several boards. He was an active deacon in the First Baptist Church of Troy, and for a long, long time, and also a member of the Lions Club, the Rotary Club. He served 14 years on the Edge Memorial Hospital Board of Directors, and 12 years as a trustee at the Alabama Baptist Children's Home. He was just so involved, and I tell you something he did, Mike. He was one of the real innovators, or he was one of the dentists that really pushed everybody, requiring everybody to wear mouthpieces, in sports, especially football. You were required. It was a penalty if you didn't have your mouthpiece on. And he was one of the leading.
Imagine playing football at all.
Yeah, he was one of the leading advocates of the mouthpiece, and one of the first dentists that really came out hard against players that weren't wearing mouthpieces. And of course, that funeral will be Friday, tomorrow, from the First Baptist Church in Troy, starting at 2 o'clock, and the family.
How many children do you have? I know you had Alan, and then you had Mrs. Renfro.
Yeah, of course, Mary Ann was Alan and Miss Miriam, and she was sister, and of course they had five. He had five grandchildren that he was very close to, and Will and Ben and Sam, that you remember very well, and
had Al and Fran.
Yeah, and Al and Fran, exactly right, and great people, and of course they were, like I said, talking to Alan Jones yesterday, Alan's one of my very closest friends, and I said, one thing about your dad, he touched everybody he was around, and he carried himself with such great style and dignity, and he was a man's man. He loved to hunt, and he was a big bird dog guy, Mike. He sent dogs to Sedgefield and places like that. He was an active outdoorsman, and he and Jesse Hall, Collie, and Gam Green, all three of those guys were. Gam had the drugstore, Dr. Jones had the dentistry, and then Dr. Collie had his office there, all together. So they were very close friends.
Yeah.
And of course, Tip, Dr. Jones went back to the old Troy sector, and and it had a lot to do with the development of the hospital here in Troy, and I could go on and on about what Dr. Alan Jones had meant to our community, and we're going to miss him. And but I tell you what, every time I see Alan, and every time I go by his office on North 39th Street, I'll always remember the great, and I mean the great, Dr. Alan Jones. And
his office was kind of across from like the Piggly Wiggly one.
That's right. That's right. And there for a long time. I remember as a kid walking home from school. If you had enough money in your pocket, you could go get an ice cream cone from Green's Drugs right there.
Walking home from school, what was that like?
Well, that was elementary school. Oh, well, that's right. You didn't know anything about walking home from school, did you?
I still feel like a horrible person.
You lived less than a block away, and you still expected somebody to pick you up, didn't you?
I think the only time I walked home was when I'd forget my cleats or something like that in practice.
Yeah, no question about it.
We should have found a way to put a hole through that fence back there.
Yeah.
We probably would have walked.
Back to Dr. Jones, you'll put him up with another great dentist, Dr. McKinnon, who was a great man, and Dr. Jones and Dr. Jesse Hall Collie and Tip Collie. All these were great men in professional careers, as a dentist and a doctor, and of course Gam Green, who'll always remember him. All of the Dr. Jack Brantley. You could just go over and over and over some of the real great people, Mike, that this community had, and of course not only Dr. Stewart was a great doctor, and you just go on and on, couldn't you?
Yeah, I mean you could a lot better than me. I was only born in '76, so you go way back.
Yeah.
To doctors I've never even heard of.
Yeah, but and then these guys made a mark on our community, every one of them, and
and they all raised families here.
Yeah, Mr. Bird downtown with Bird Drugs, started that pharmacy in 1940, and of course Joe has taken over for him very well, and a lot of traditional things in Troy are built around those men that I mentioned. Alan still eats lunch at Bird's about 2 or 3 times a week.
And I saw Alan at Bird's with Mom.
Yeah.
About a month ago down there.
Well, of course.
Eat one of those world famous hamburgers.
Oh yeah, and chicken salad, and I tell you, the sandwich I had the other day was a chicken salad sandwich with bacon, lettuce and tomato and bacon.
Chicken salad for Birds.
And it was really good, and no question about it. Well, what's going on in the sports world, Mike? Alabama, we mentioned yesterday, they lost that great linebacker for the year. Alabama sometimes has a tendency to almost self-destruct, don't you think?
I don't know about self-destruct. They kind of self-destructed when they went
Well,
to Auburn last year when Auburn beat
well,
them well.
and they ran out of linebackers, didn't they?
Yeah, the best thing for Alabama is hopefully they've got a young guy, waiting in the wings that's hungry and come in and, gain experience, and then, come late in the season when they play the really good teams like Auburn, and I don't know if LSU will be a good team, but, some of those teams, hopefully he'll be ready to go. SEC Media Days is next week, and that's a big change is, they're finally out of Birmingham.
Yeah, where are they going to do that, Mike? Atlanta?
Yeah, it's going to be Atlanta. So Monday you'll have Kentucky, LSU, Texas A&M. Tuesday you'll have Arkansas, Florida, Georgia, Ole Miss. Of course, Georgia will be a huge following in Atlanta. And then Wednesday you'll have Alabama, Mississippi State, Missouri, Tennessee. Thursday you'll have Auburn, South Carolina, and Vanderbilt. Alabama's representatives will be some great players: Damian Harris, Anthony Jennings, and offensive lineman Ross Piercebacher. And then Auburn will have Jerry Stidham, Deshaun Davis, and Dontavius Russell will be their representatives in Atlanta.
Yeah. Of course, both teams, Auburn and Alabama, are looking to have banner years. Auburn.
In most polls, well, not most polls, almost every poll is number one, and then Auburn's in some polls in the top 10, but then Phil Steele has Auburn at 19th.
Is Phil Steele, is he out now?
He must be out because they've been talking about him a lot on the radio.
Well, I need to go by and get one of those magazines because very accurate, I think. But Auburn loves it though. Auburn loves to be the underdog. They play that role real well.
A lot of NFL guys were on the other day, and they think Stidham will be a top 10 pick at quarterback for Auburn. So when they think of him as a quarterback, and they also mentioned that Damian Harris at running back will probably be a first-round pick, which is credit to him for staying back. A lot of people thought he was going to go early, but there's a lot of running backs in this past class, and there's not as many next year, so looks like that's a smart decision. Yeah.
This show is brought to you by Troy Bank and Trust Company. The only bank you'll ever need is Troy Bank and Trust, now with 12 locations to choose from throughout the Wiregrass, and also have a bank in Auburn, Alabama. So, hey, Auburn folks riding down the road, see Troy Bank and Trust Company, one of the strong local banks in Alabama. And, of course, we appreciate them very much. Of course, you remember a man like Dr. Alan Jones and what he's done for our community and how he has been a big part of a lot of good things that have happened to the city of Troy. And you can look back in those names I mentioned, and there's a lot more names than that people that contributed to the growth and prosperity of our community. And if you had a Hall of Fame, those names that I mentioned just a while ago will be in the Hall of Fame in Troy, Alabama, as far as doing the things to make a town better to live in. And, of course, not only through our schools, but our churches and our civic activities. And, everything in Troy, to me, ranks up there with anybody with quality. And Troy is a quality place to live because of men like Dr. Alan Jones. And, of course, one of his real good friends and colleagues was Dr. H.T. McKinnon. And they were very similar to the same type of people, just great civic-minded people that made their career in dentistry in Troy, Alabama.
Well, it's one of those things where, you can go back farther than most, like I said, I always knew Dr. Jones. I didn't even know Dr. McKinnon.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I know that. But, of course, Dr. McKinnon was a little bit further back than Dr. Jones, but at the same time, they practiced dentistry just right up the street from each other, and of course, we're both very active people. Want to mention several things that are going on right now. I noticed that Charles Henderson's football team getting ready for a big 7-on-7 at Hoover, Mike, and that will be going on quickly. And you know, before you know it, football season, and we're talking about August the 1st, is when all of them can actually officially hit the field for, you know.
Well, they've been on the field since.
I know, but what I'm saying in pads, you know, they can actually hit the field in pads and start practice for the regular season.
Yeah, I don't know how these kids play today. I mean, it's.
I tell you what, I tell you right now, you know, they talk about the